I will be first, but I am prepping the live stream right now. So, I'm at the mercy of the, here we go. I will be first. That's our background. Okay, here we go. So, we hop back over to Zoom. Now we're on YouTube live stream. Thank you so much for you guys that are going to be joining us there. I'm unable to see your comments as I am originating on Zoom, but thank you. All right. I'm going to go first, and then Bree, and then LB. We'll just go right down the book that I have in front of me. And I'm going to start with Seasons of the Witch. Now, I want to say, if anyone in the room was like, oh, I have that one too, pull from it. Don't not pull from a deck just because someone else did. If you get the same card, that's the message. If you don't, we get another message. All right. Well, it's still a message, a different message, you know. So this is Seasons of the Witch. This is an entire series of decks. Oh, I didn't start a timer. Crap. Super focused. Start. Okay. Seasons of the Witch, Beltane Oracle by Lorraine Anderson and Julian Piaz, illustrated by Jadder. So this is an entire series of decks. There's 8. So and also we're all going to be reading from the book today. It's going to be very interesting. It's so fun. I like it. I get to get a taste of the deck, and I'm getting a new deck if it's fabulous, or I might be like, ooh, that one sucks. Oh my goodness, you know. All right, here we go. All right. Ooh, got it. Woo. Wonder if I pulled this one. God, this is card 14, which is a personal practice. I do 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. And in the major arcana, this is Oracle, I know that, but in tarot, the major arcana offers key 5 or card 5 as the Hierophant. And the distilled, the Hierophant's meaning is always the student, always the teacher. It's cyclical. It's always information in, information out. You must be in the position of both to thrive. And then we have Goddess. So that energy is, in my mind, that energy is coming in. On the card itself, it says, make sure to feel it in your bones, for you are what you believe. Oh, I love this thing. One more time, guys. Make sure to feel it in your bones, for you are what you believe. And look at her. Honey is the theme throughout the deck. We're going to see a lot of that. And it is spilling over from that top. And what is that? 3 moons? I don't even know, but I'm in love with it. And there's a bee. Okay, anyway. So let's go to the book. I am just glancing down. You can always do the intuitive, but we're not doing that because we're going straight to the book. Because I'll spend the next few minutes talking about it, which is fun, and that's a good habit. It's a good thing to do. But just for this event, we go right to that book because we want to share what the author is saying. I'm coughing just to get that message across. All right. A goddess is not available to everyone. Sure, she may receive prayers and offerings, but only a lucky few will ever have the privilege of seeing her true form. A goddess must evaluate a person's true desires to determine whether or not they are pure of heart and will appreciate her gifts. You, too, are a goddess with the ability to limit access to your energy. Do not feel pressured to say yes to every opportunity requesting your attention. The situation you are inquiring about requires additional evaluation before you can proceed. Does this situation truly align with what you'd like to have in your life right now? Is this something you truly enjoy? Or are you settling out of fear or worry that you won't get another chance like this? A goddess never settles because she knows the universe provides unlimited opportunities for her to share her gifts with the world. You too will be blessed over and over again. Give yourself the time and space to consider all of your options before deciding which one will be lucky enough to be part of your life. If something slips away while you do this, trust that it wasn't worthy of your attention to begin with. Okay, and then we have a list of Beltane goddesses. This is great. And these can also be viewed as an answer to your question if you have one in your mind. Oh my God. No, I have a minute. Okay. Sorry, minute. Or maybe this is an ancestor or spirit energy that you could commune with. You don't have to have a question or a situation or event of trauma. This is just your day, how you experience it. So Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, beauty, and pleasure. Now these are all goddesses associated with the pagan holiday of Belgium. Apologies on the pronunciation. Astarte, the Greek goddess of fertility, sexuality, and war. Diana, the Roman goddess of the hunt, the moon, and nature. Flora, the Roman goddess of the spring, nature, and flowers. Freya, the Norse goddess of love, sex, fertility, beauty, and gold. Proserpina, the Roman goddess associated with the underworld, spring, and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And finally, Venus, and she's associated with tarot too, the Roman goddess of love, beauty, desire, and fertility. Oh, I nailed that. Did you see that? That timer went off right when I finished. But now that it's all about the time. Because I'm shooting time. Okay. And in that energy, we're gonna hop right over to Bree, and after Bree, LB. Go ahead, Bree.
All right, so I'm gonna switch it up and we're gonna do a Kim Kranz morning. So first I'm gonna pull from the alchemy deck, and I'm just gonna do kind of a collective message for the group here. So let's see what we got. All right, so we have 10. All right. Malleable, expansive, Jupiter. Tin is a silvery white, highly malleable metal. This is in part because tin's structure is composed of crystals in cubic or tetragonal formations that can be broken or crushed under moderate pressure. When the crystalline structure breaks, a sound known as the tin cry can be heard, hence the unnerving sound of crinkling tinfoil. Such is the energy of the tin card. On one hand, it is tin's Jupiterian nature to expand, to mobilize, to cover the whole territory. On the other hand, the metal cannot withstand much weight or pressure. When this card appears, you may have reached a limit or a breaking point after taking on more than logistically possible under the circumstances. Don't take this juncture personally. More strength is required before taking the next step. To support the expansion, you'll see in the mind's eye. And to ponder reflection as illumination, be like tin today. If a good cry or wail is needed to be heard, let it happen. It'll release the pressure in the laboratory and you'll have a whole new perspective. In esoteric wisdom traditions, Jupiter and tin are associated with the liver. It's possible the liver may have a wise message to reveal, perhaps about excess and balance. So that is the alchemy deck. The next I'll pull from the archetype deck, also by Kim Kranz as well. I just love her messages. Her guidebook is very thorough and just kind of goes on so many layers. Ooh, we had 2 flyers. All right. Ooh. We have Alethea. So kind of like a yin yang look going there. I do not pull this card often at all. Okay. Truth. That's the key word. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all of the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Alethea. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Alethea by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Aletheia card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and a sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings, set it free. When light, clarity, revelation, disclosure. When dark, distortions, gaslighting, excuses. To go deeper, the goddess Matt and Baradius. It is said that the resonance of our voice changes when we speak a falsity. In this light, practice seeing truth as a vibration, which is true because I've studied this a lot when I teach sales. And they say when somebody says something and their voice goes up at the end of the sentence, they're usually lying. So that's really interesting. And there's a lot of ways that you can look at people's facial expressions and things to tell if they're telling the truth or not. Picasso said, we all know that art is not a truth. Picasso said, we all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize truth, at least the truth that is given us to understand. It's interesting. So I only have 30 seconds, so I'll pause there. But yeah, so I think, we have like this stark and light contrast here. And like I get very much like yin yang vibes. And when I think of the truth, I think of finding clarity, right? And then I think with, tin, that ability to, just kind of like let your emotions out so you can set your path.
Yeah, driving into the woods and screaming. I haven't done that, but I know people do that. You go find that space that release the tin scream. Oh, what about the Tin Man and the
Yeah.
Man, I love Kim Tran. I'm like, you're reading from the alchemical and the archetypal, and I'm like, I love these decks. And she also has the animal deck, and then she has, her tarot. I'm like, I'm gonna do a Kim Tran drop on YouTube just for that. Yeah.
Yeah, her decks are amazing. I resonate the least with, her tarot deck was the very first one that I have, but I don't read with it.
I don't either. Well, Bree and I both started, and I know we're at timing, so I'll be fast. But Bree and I both started with the Kim Fran's Wild Unknown Tarot. It's a very popular deck. I don't ever read with it. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? But I learned from it. I don't know how the hell I learned tarot. It's a good deck, though. I highly suggest getting it. Okay. Oh shit. I don't have my list. So we're just showing the screen. Steve, you are next. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm reading from Good Fortune by Barbara Moore. And my card is the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles, fate, material trouble. Material resources include our money, our stuff, our body, our energy, our precious time. This card signifies the loss of the very items we need to survive and thrive. The reduction in flow is due to a change in external circumstances. The external source can be anything we don't directly control, such as broader economy, social or political events, other people's actions, accidents, ripple alignment of stars, and chance. Good fortune, we are adaptable. Fives are cards of conflict and change. With the Five Pentacles, the change negatively affects our material life. When facing unwanted change, the urge is to make things the way they used to be. And we all know how that usually works. If we cling to the idea that no future can be better than the past, we are doomed. Let us instead emulate the classic heroines of literature who, when faced with disaster upon disaster, courageously created lives of meaning and purpose. Our good fortune is that we have a new reality and new possibilities to explore. We will discover new resources, establish new priorities, and if we're very lucky, we will craft a more resilient self in the process. Reversal of fortune. There's only one way to go. We're at the bottom of the wheel of life. There's nowhere to go but up. Changes in our immediate world will affect our material lives forever. The rough patch is ending, and the skies, if not sunny, are at least only partly cloudy. Reprieve may only be temporary. Check the surrounding cards or inquire further for details. If the If the Six of Cups appears from this card, it is likely the contract is too invested in the past and unable to imagine a better future. And as Simone Benoit, Rules of Fate and Destiny. Simone Benoit is Barbara Moore's alter ego.
Thank you. I like that more broad take on the Five of Pentacles, because I tend to like zone in on physical health, and it could be a lot, like political unrest, like I mentioned. That's definitely Five of Pentacles. We're all screwed there. But so sorry. Were you done? Had you concluded, Steve, or were you still reading? I'm sorry. I just started talking.
No, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that share. And I did one thing. Whoopsies, something popped up. That card showed a person helping the other person, I think. I hadn't seen that yet in the Five of Pentacles of the 100%. I have. If someone actually just literally offering that hand. I didn't see the card, but I guess they could have also been shoving them down into the snow. So maybe it wasn't out. All right. Let's keep going. All right, Preston, go ahead.
I am reading with the Enchanted Forest Tarot, and the first card I have is Seeker of Visions. Let's see if I can get that. There. It's a young man with long hair playing a harp of some kind. The Seeker of Visions returns every day to this forest lake where once he caught sight of a woman more beautiful than his most beautiful dreams. From that moment on, his heart was enthralled. Dazzled by sunlight on the water and confused by mist that rose as if by magic, it seemed to him that she transformed herself into a fish and disappeared below the surface of the lake. He plays his harp and sings with the voice of an angel, hoping to lure her back, hoping for one more glimpse of the glimmering girl who captured his imagination. If this card doesn't represent a particular person, it can mean unrequited love, a sense of spiritual purpose, or a desire for a more artistic life. Character traits: idealistic, romantic, visionary, poetic, gallant, follows his heart, and Prince Charming. Shadow traits: a seducer, doesn't commit in relationships, unrealistic understanding of love, prone to flights of quixotic fancy, not grounded in reality. The second card I got was one, the Enchanter. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of the Magician. All right. The enchanter observes everything that happens in a forest, and then he influences it, manipulates it, meddles, and brings elements together to create situations he deems beneficial. He sets things in motion. He can converse with every bird, beast, gnome, ogre, sylph, and elf, though he may pretend to be hard of hearing with the elves. The enchanter takes a special interest in humans passing through the forest, whatever their purpose. You may ask him for magical help if you get in trouble. Be aware, though, that he may not choose to give the kind of help you hoped for or expected. He has been known to stir things up for those who tried to take the safest route. The enchanter is far-seeing when it comes to adventures that happen in the forest, and what seems inexplicable and troublesome to you may be part of a larger design that only he can see. Still, you can always learn from him, especially when it comes to using your own powers to their fullest. Meaning at a glance: magic, wisdom, force of will and intention, ability to influence and help, power at your command. A closer look. The enchanter's sleeves are trimmed in otter fur, which is a protective charm often used by wizards. The enchanter conjured the fur without harming any otters, of course. And let me pull a third card simply because we've got a bunch of time left. Okay, I have the Six of Visions. Six of Visions. All in the golden afternoon, a child comes to her secret spot by the river, bringing her book and her imagination. She is absorbed, enchanted, blissfully lost in her beloved stories. She doesn't notice the forest creatures and magical beings all around her. even though it wouldn't surprise her to see they are real, for she believes in them fervently. These hours are the foundation of her lifetime's ideas about happiness. As long as she can find her way into the forest or lose herself in a book, she will always be the child with dreaming eyes of wonder. When we grow up, we're expected to put away childish things and settle down to take life seriously. But we are never too old to live an enchanted life. This card is a reminder that the child you once were is still part of you. What was magic then is still magic today. All you have to do is open your mind to it. Your old friends from books and your imagination are close at hand, waiting for you to come for a picnic by the river. Meaning at a glance, memories of childhood, nostalgia, the way you were before cynicism or bitterness touched you. A closer look. Do you see the dragonfly? And I've only got 30 seconds, so I'm not going to pull another one.
I have that deck. I love that deck. It is so fun.
And it's so gentle.
Yeah. Because like even though we're in the forest, I'm like, I feel kind of safe here. It's just pretty good. Awesome. Yay. I love hearing all these different ways to read the card because I'll get like little tiny like, oh shit, I never thought of that, you know? I love it. All right, LB, you are next, and then we'll go to Ashna after that. All right, go ahead, LB.
All right, thanks. So I'm gonna be reading from the artist's inner vision. Let me turn on my camera. And I just pull the cards that like I guess stuck out to me. Make sure is it in view? Hold on, let me just back up a little bit. Okay, so the first card is the Queen of Coins. And I'm flipping there. So, as an individual, the Queen of Coins represents a woman who enjoys the finer things in life: good food, high quality clothes, a pleasant, comfortable, aesthetically pleasing home, and is unafraid of the hard work it takes to achieve those worldly rewards. She believes in herself, her judgment, and taste with true conviction. She is generous of herself and her resources. She is one with nature and the rhythms of her body and relation to health matters. This card can also portray the qualities of solid self-reliance and trust within you, a strong work ethic, and enjoyment of the better things in life. The Queen of Coins is represented by a beautiful woman with several arms and hands and movement, showing her hard work ethic. She is dressed in beautiful clothing and has a fine headdress representing her enjoyment of fine things. A swirling pattern of movement in the background also signifies motion and industry. A necklace with an eye upon it represents her inner convictions. The round pearls and circular patterns around her are rhythmic, reinforcing her connection to nature. This card can represent a generous individual with an appreciation of the finer things in life, willing to work hard for what she wants, will come into your life, or these qualities will become apparent in your life. And then it also says the character of Kate in the movie One True Thing is warm, natural, giving, and plays the role of homemaker with great devotion and pride, a true Queen of Coins character. Never heard of that movie, but I will look that up later. All right, the next card is the Eight of Swords. This card characterizes the expression between a rock and a hard place. There's a feeling of being trapped, being a victim of circumstance in a situation where one is restricted in some way. Yet despite its negativity, the Eight of Swords, besides being a card of restriction and inner turmoil, is also a card that promises eventual liberation. In this card, we see a sleeping individual lying in a cramped fetal position, a position of retreat and reluctance, defeat, representing the feeling of entrapment and frozen conflict. Yet within the sleeper's dreams, we see him, her walking a tightrope above those swords of conflict and entrapment, leaving them behind. The Eight of Swords informs us that although one is trapped in a situation, restricted in some way, there is hope. There will be a new beginning, a choice that will relieve the restriction, a door will open for escape from the difficult situation. The negative of this card would mean seeing the situation clearly for the first time for what it is, and after becoming mentally clear, taking a step towards liberation. A movie which illustrates the Eight of Swords is No Way Out, where a character is trapped, framed for a crime he has not committed, and must prove his innocence. Another movie with the same Eight of Swords scenario is The Fugitive. All right, so then the next card is the Four of Swords, and it says, is it the Four of Swords? Yeah. After every exertion, there is a need for rest and rejuvenation. This card reminds us that we are human flesh and blood creatures, and we must put our thoughts at rest and escape to a quiet place within ourselves to bring peace and healing to our frequently exhausted psyche. The withdrawal that this card recommends is shown by a tree in the shape of a woman, symbolizing Mother Earth, who is nurturing four fetus fruits in her branches. Sleep is a wonderful escape and balm. Nothing feels safer than sleep in a mother's arm and finding the peaceful slumber of the innocence. You must find time for rest and healing. There is a time to retreat from your daily routines for repair. This is a time for escape. The negative of this card would be breaking away from a solitarity state, a return to the world and regular activities. And I'll do one more, the Two of Swords. When times are difficult and choices need to be made, it is easy to procrastinate. Make the decision tomorrow, and tomorrow we think we are approaching with courage and decisiveness never comes. It becomes simply another tomorrow. The more time goes by, the harder the decision. We let emotions cloud our judgment, not wanting to leave one option behind for another. We lie balance and inertia and fear of the unknown. This card tells us the fatality of this stance. The time for choices has come. Emotions must be set aside for pure logic and reason. You're on mute, Elizabeth, I think.
Yeah, that was amazing. What is that deck called?
The Artist's Inner Vision. I'll type it in the text.
Okay. Oh my God. Because it's like when we read the, sorry, I'll use first person because I'm not here to speak better. But when I read the cards, like I know the traditional meaning, they're fun. And then every once in a while, I'm like that picture. It's for me, it's looking at a picture and going, okay, I understand the traditional meaning of the Two of Swords. Where do I find that here? And it's okay if I did right now, that. And it's okay if what I'm thinking intuitively has nothing to do with the traditional meaning of the card. No, I just love these because it's a fun exercise like that too. Of swords, I'm almost like, whoa, that's got a lot, a lot of space to grow in the meaning of swords with that works. I love it. Okay, so well, Ashna, you'll be next, and then Letty, you'll bring us home. So if you're ready, Ashna, go ahead.
Hi. Okay. So I actually pull from one deck and then read from another guidebook. I read from A Beginner's Guide to Tarot by Juliet Sharman Burke. And then I really like the Tarot of the Divinity. It's a specifically a it's like the purpose of or it's based on, or the artwork is based on different folklore around the world. So this is the one, and it has beautiful artwork in it, and I feel like it's really helpful for people that are more beginners for tarot. But the first card that I pulled was the Nine of Wands, and according to the guidebook here, the appearance of the Nine of Wands is a reading. In a reading, suggests inner strength and determination. The situation that you find yourself in may be perilous and the demands high, yet you do have enough internal resources to battle through, even though you may doubt yourself. The innate competitiveness of the fiery wands indicates that no matter how difficult or dangerous a situation may be, it is always worth trying to fight the good fight. This card indicates that you have an accumulation of strength and courage which can be drawn upon in critical times. It speaks of internal resources rather than a resilience on the outside world to rescue you in times of trouble. This card suggests you will be called upon to use your integrity and innate courage to free yourself from hardships and opposition. Perhaps the most important aspect of this card is its resilience on wisdom gained through personal experience, which is, after all, the most valuable kind. This card always indicates a struggle, but it also carries a hope of victory, no matter how impossible this may appear at first glance. So, a lot of personal belief, like truly believe in yourself, which is is really interesting because the second card that I pulled, and I always kind of like to pull two cards, is the Two of Wands. And in the Two of Wands, it says, so the Two of Wands is a card of duality. The single idea emerged in the Ace is now split into two. The Two of Wands symbolizes the balance between action and passivity, which is indicated by the two wands held, one in each hand, the right and the left. The combination of the two wands indicates equilibrium. However, the essential message of this card is a potential that is yet to be fulfilled. When this card comes up in a reading, it suggests that some decisions have been taken and preparations made, but the journey has not yet been started. The figure stands on the wall dressed for travel. This one's a little bit different, of course, because it is Janus, the god of doors. And so you can see that he's looking kind of in the past and in the future. So, but he does stand kind of at the door. So he stood at different entrance points and different viewpoints. But basically, the view over the horizon hints at what is yet to come, looking at the past, and then Janus is the other head is looking in the future. This is a card of energy and enterprise, suggesting enthusiasm and passion, yet balance. At best, the Two of Wands indicates a new venture that is launched from a firm foundation. At worst, it might indicate a tendency always to be planning, but never actually taking the first step. When this card appears in a reading, it is likely that you will be faced with many opportunities for the future, but the outcome is still far from clear. So, you know, I like using the two. I think it's really interesting because the first one was of, hey, you have the internal strength and abilities, trusted in those abilities. And this first one is there's a lot of opportunities to come, but depending on your past and your future, right, or what is yet to come, you have to make the active choice of kind of going forward and actually taking those first steps into becoming whatever it is that you'd like to become. So I really do like these two cards. It's an interesting pull.
Yeah, I have that deck. That's a beautiful deck. I have two copies for some reason, actually. But I love hearing, like I said, the descriptions, because I pulled out my Rider-Waite Smith when you were reading that, because that character had, like it said, the duality, splitting the ace into two, so you have duality and hand on each staff. But then the Rider-Waite Smith, the character is only holding one staff. The other staff has been like secured to the wall, like it's bolted in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, it's like, for me, it's like, oh, that's different. Okay, but how is it the same? How is the message conveyed? That's how I look at tarot or oracle. How is it being conveyed? And when it's being conveyed, it's unique to you as a reader, to me as a reader, because we all have our own lens. So it's a personal exercise in tarot or oracle. But I do that. But yeah, thanks. I forgot how pretty that deck was. I was like, oh, I want to read with that again.
It's a very pretty deck.
There's one, if you like that, there's also, oh, Mystical Month. No, that's not it. I'll think about it. I'll try to remember because there's one that's kind of similar to that, and it's really fun too. Okay, Letty, I'm so excited to hear the names of your new deck and to hear a page from them. This is going to be so cool, or two pages or whatever.
Yes, so for the tarot, I have How to Deal, and it's tarot for everyday life, written by Sammy Main, illustrated by Marisa de la Peña. And I pulled out, let's see here, the High Priestess, and let me see what it says. Okay, so it says the High Priestess is one of the strongest female energies in the entire deck, and she's here to look out for you. She represents our inner mysteries and curiosities. Notice how she's got all the power when it comes to our dream worlds. When you see this card, take a moment to consider what's going on behind the scenes of what you're asking about. Is there something hidden that isn't being addressed? Perhaps you should try to find out rather than ignore it. The High Priestess knows every secret. And then from the Oracle, I have Sustain Yourself Oracle. and it is James Wenles, PhD, creator of the Voyager Tarot. And I pulled nothing, and nothing says openness on the top. And it says most everything is nothing, almost 75% of the universe. Don't try so hard to get something that isn't anything. Don't hold your ground because nothing is solid. Give yourself space, call for a timeout, go blank with no agenda, no plan. Most of what we see and think is not. Life is run by the hidden and invisible. Keep an open mind and open heart. Live spacious.
That was so fun. That whole nothing thing, I'm like, what? Wait, give me a second of that. What? And then right away too, I think I need everything from a maximum. I love that. I love that. And I love that when Lenny and I first met, just not too long ago, you didn't have any decks, and now you have an oracle and a tarot. And as a reader, I am ecstatic. And also, well, we did wrap up. We will be getting into this in a minute. We are going to have at least one session, probably a quarter. So within the 3 months, where we'll just come together and talk about the decks that we've been working with and what ones we'd like to actively share, not necessarily reading the card. Because I love adding to my decks, but I also like to know I'm making a good purchase. And hearing from other readers helps me to decide that. So yay, super fun. We are, so it's Saturday. So we're meeting again. We'll kick off our regular week on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at Willow Root Tarot. And then on, oh, am I saying this right? Yeah, Saturday. If you guys have not joined Dallas Tarot Club, you should see the link in the chat. I can repost it if it's not there. Join it if you would like to come to our mediumship session. This is every other week. And so is our mediumship. So we alternate. So this week we just come read cards. Next week we'll talk about mediumship. And I suggest also, if you have the time, to go to my YouTube channel, Willow Root Tarot. I'm posting under the playlist called The Card Medium. And it's going to have what we're going to be doing in that session. Because we only have 60 minutes, I'm going to post the exercise and me walking through it if I feel it's necessary beforehand. So you guys can have a really good idea of what we're doing, because I won't have the time to go into too much explanation, because again, it's only 60 minutes. So really fun intros, we go into a brief visualization, right into that exercise, and we'll get out about 10-15 minutes before the hour, so we have a little cushion to go to our next group or whatever it is that we're doing. So I hope I see you. Let's spend another week, but that's mediumship, all kinds. So if Letitia, if you want to change it on Zoom, I think if you go, for me, I know I have different options. Go to your tile on the screen, and if you see 3 dots in the upper right, if you see that, you should have a rename. Now, I have my capabilities, so my screen's set up a little bit different. If that doesn't do it for you, maybe Google or ask Chat. Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Okay. Or like maybe someone else in the room's even like, no, let's do it. That's how you do it. All right. Well, we will say bye. I hope I see you again very soon. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
Thanks, Brett.
Bye, guys. Go by text. All right. Bye, guys. Oh, I have to stop the live stream. Oh, this is how. Okay, bye live stream. I hope I see you very soon. And if you're ever available to come to my lives, okay. So it's just whatever. I know it's tech. I know it's a tech thing. Another camera's going over there. It's tech. So let's pretend it's not tech and there's actually something over there. Bye. Hi, how are you? I'm supposed to happen. Will you come back? Hello? So we'll just check chat in case something mysterious will land in there. Okay, well, I think that I know it's tech. Let's go ahead and say yes, it is. What else might it be? What else can exist at the same time? Because not one reason is going to stick to it. Not one blueprint for everyone. But now we're not moving. Okay. All right, guys, this has been incredible.